Could you give up your smartphone for 21 days? Well, in a new series, brilliant series that started last night, Emma and Matt Willis took on that challenge alongside a group of Year 8 students. Well, Dr Rangan Chatterjee is one of the lead scientists in that show. He joins me now. I am so glad that you made this documentary. I think it's fascinating. And it is an addiction in a sense. You know, they are, these kids.
It really is. Look, Lorraine, I think all of us as adults know how difficult it is to modulate our own usage of smartphones. Absolutely. And then let's think about that for our children who don't have fully developed brains yet. Now, I think it's really important to say, Lorraine, and I think we did this really well in the documentary, this is not about blame or judging parents. I've got a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. I know the pressures that parents are under for their children to do what everyone else around them is doing. But as people will see tonight, just 21 days without not just smartphones, Lorraine, it wasn't just that, it was also their tablets, their laptops, and their gaming devices. So after 21 days without them, anxiety and depression was significantly better, right? They felt more socially connected, and they were worried beforehand. The kids were, oh, what are we going to do about our friends? That's the irony. They felt more socially connected than less. But check this, I think these two stats are the biggest ones for me. Number one, the children slept for 1 hour extra a night on average.
Wow, their sleep was better.
Yeah, but let's just think about sleep for 1 minute. When we don't sleep well, it impacts our physical health and our mental well-being. Okay, so when you know this yourself, but you know, when you don't sleep well, you're more anxious the next day. You're more emotionally volatile. You can't concentrate. You can't focus. You eat more food when you haven't slept well. You're less able to resist temptation. And we have a growing mental health epidemic in this country in adolescents and teenagers. And I think the number one thing we can do is to get people sleeping better. So there's more results, which I could talk about, but those are the top line results, really, after just 21 days, which is pretty remarkable.
Do you think they were happier, the kids?
I did these clinics throughout. You only saw a few of them in the actual final edits, but I spent a lot of time with these children throughout. And what was interesting for me, the first 2 to 3 days, it reminded me of when I've seen patients withdraw from sugar before or alcohol. There was a restlessness. There was a...
Bit jittery.
Right? Very much like an addiction. But once 2 to 3 days had gone, almost all of them said to me, actually, I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel less pressure. And Lorraine, I'm saying this with an open heart, with compassion. I've got to say, as a society, I think we're failing our children at the moment. It's not their fault that they can't stay off these devices. They are made to be addictive. But I think we all need to collectively come together, including governments, to actually do something about this.
And the big social media tech giants, they've got a responsibility as well.
They do, but what I would say to that is I've seen this before with junk foods. Right, the government will often say, oh, we need them to police this better. We need tech companies to police social media better. I just don't think they're ever going to do that.
Of course they're not.
The whole business model it requires more and more people, including children, being on those platforms. So I think it's time for the government to actually show some strong leadership and say, no, we're going to fine these technology companies. If you don't stop children accessing harmful content, and let's be really clear, 1 in 4 11-year-olds in this country have already accessed pornography. Not only that, when they go on a pornographic website for the first time, it is highly likely they will be shown either violence or non-consensual sex.
At that age?
At that age, right? So when I say we're failing our children, we have guardrails in society for gambling, for alcohol consumption, right? Children may want to gamble, but we say, hey, until you're 18, you're not allowed. I'm saying we've allowed this modern technology to insidiously creep into every aspect of our children's lives. And I think we just need to take a minute and go, wait a minute, what are we doing?
And normalise the fact that you don't get your phone maybe until you are 14, 16, whatever it may be. I mean, it sounds... What I get upset about, to be honest with you, is the fact people go, oh, there's nothing we can do about this. But there really is.
There's plenty we can do about this. Listen, it wasn't that long ago when doctors were smoking in a GP surgery as you came in for a consultation.
You're right.
But look at it now. We don't even allow smoking in public places.
So it can change.
We can change things very fast. Just these devices didn't exist 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. So it's come in very quickly.
Yeah.
I would say there's two big things I'm concerned about. Okay, number one is social media for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's toxic for young minds to have that sort of content being served to them. And it's really important we understand this, Lorraine. We can always say, oh, yeah, but it's some really nice things. Yeah, but what about the bad things?
Yeah, exactly.
As we saw last night, these things go horribly wrong for some families.
They do,
right?
in the worst way.
In the worst possible way. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm concerned about as a medical doctor is the amount of homework that's been given on screens now in the evening, which has really ramped up since COVID. Now, that's actually very problematic because we know that light exposure in the evening negatively impacts our sleep.
Yeah.
Right? So I think we need to have, it's not about judging anyone. We need to start having a really serious conversation in society over what impact are these devices having, how can we use them in a way that helps us but doesn't harm us.
Exactly. Rangan, thank you so much. It's an amazing documentary, it really is. A Department for Science, Innovation and Technology spokesperson, I have to say this to you, said by next summer the Online Safety Act will bring in protections for children to make sure their experiences online are appropriate for their age. This includes using highly effective age checks and altering algorithms to filter out harmful content. And that's what they're saying. Rangan's not convinced. I think we're going to have another debate on that for sure. We shall be watching to make sure that is happening. And Swiped, the school that banned smartphones, continues tonight, 8 o'clock on Channel 4. You can catch up, of course, the first episode if you missed it. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.